Hi guys, I'm the Ember. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cool sci-fi ball in Blender. So let's get straight into it. So open up a new Blender file, and we're just going to delete everything by pressing A, then X, and then Shift A, add a UV sphere, and go down this little menu here. We're going to click on that. We're going to change the segments to 150. We're going to change the rings to 150. Right click, shade smooth. So now we have a very nice smooth ball. Tab to go to edit mode. And we're going to go to front view like this by pressing X on the little gizmo up there. And if you press B, it does box select. We're going to go up and click X-ray mode. And then B to box select. And just do it just below the green line. And then select all of that, X and vertices. And turn X-ray mode off. And we're going to Alt, click one of these dots. That means it will select a whole loop. And then F to fill the bottom. Okay, so now we're going to press 3 for face select. And if you hold down Alt and click on one of the lines, it will select a ring. Shift Alt. You want to do that 3 times. I'll do it 4 times. 5 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rows. S, scale it in. And now we're going to go down to this little ball icon. Click New. And call this material Glossy. And we're going to make the base color a dark grey. Got to turn metallic all the way up and the roughness down a little bit. And then we're going to make one more. So click the plus and then click New. And just call this Glow. Change the principled BSDF to Emission. And just select any color you want. I'm going to use blue. And change the strength to 20. Okay, so now, once this whole row is selected, we're going to make sure you're on the glow material and click Assign. If we go into Render Preview, you'll see that it's kind of glowing, but it's not really glowing that well. It just looks like a blue line. So we're going to go over to the camera icon, click Ambient Occlusion, Bloom, and Screen Space Reflections. So now it's glowing a lot better. Okay, so we're also going to go to Shading. And we're going to select this little drop down here. Click that and then click Glossy. And we're going to plug in a noise. So type in noise and then noise texture. And plug that color into the roughness. We're going to change the detail from 2 to 12. And we're going to change the scale a little bit. Looks pretty good. Now we have this nice dirty-ish shader. So go back to layout. And we're going to just move this off to the side. And then we're going to do Shift A. And add another UV sphere. And we're going to get that same material. So go to Materials, click the drop down and click Glossy. You also need to click Shade Smooth. Okay, so now we just need to attach these onto the ball. But at the moment, if you try and put it on, you're going to have to like line it up and scale it and rotate it. But we don't want to do that. There's actually a shortcut. So if you go up here to snapping, click the magnet icon, and then click the drop down, click face project, center, and align rotation to target. Now, when you move it, it will snap to the object. We're also going to scale this down, G, and put that there. scale it down. Shift D, and you can make some variants. So S, Shift D, S, Shift D. Just keep doing this until you have a lot of little balls all over your sphere. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I'm just going to click A to select all, and then GZ to move it up a little bit. Shift A, plane, S10, tab to go to edit mode, press 2 on your keyboard, and click this very edge line. Go to side view, and E to extrude. Just put it up there. Click this edge again, Control B to bevel, and use your mouse wheel to scroll. It'll add more lines. Tab out of edit mode, right click, shade smooth, and we want one more shader for this backdrop. I'm going to use that same glossy. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now we need a camera, so go to front view by pressing X, just zoom in, Shift A, and add a camera, and you can do Control Alt numpad 0, and it will put it where you're looking. And then G and X, just move it around until you have it in a position you like. G, Z. At the moment we still have snapping on, so we can turn that off. So G and Z, so now it'll work a lot better. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Just gonna make some more of these on the side. Actually, turn snapping back on. And just put some more of these around. So that's looking pretty good. And we're just going to maybe turn the glow intensity up a little bit. So change the strength from 20 to 30. Now I need to add some lights. So Shift A and a light point. Just gonna turn snapping off, otherwise it'll snap to the surface, which we don't really want. So G, move that up, change the power to 30. Might even make them more 50. We're gonna go to rendered view by clicking the very last one up here. We're going to change the power to 200. Okay, and we're going to change the color to a nice blue. I'm going to use a greeny blue. Shift D and move this around a little bit. One last thing, we're going to add another plane. So Shift A, mesh plane, G, Z, move it up, R to rotate on the Y axis, so RY, and then GX, just move it in front, and then SY and SX to make this bigger. Got to add a new material, change the surface from principled BSDF to emission. Change the emission strength to 30. GZ to move it down a bit. And we're going to change the render engine from Eevee to cycles. Everything will go white because we have a lot of very bright lights. So we need to change the brightness on these lights. So just change that down. And select these other lights. And you can press H to hide an object. So I just hid that plane, and Alt H to unhide objects. So that is still very powerful. Got to make it 4. And we can change the color. Gonna make it nice blue. We're also going to make another one of these planes. You can go to viewport render, Shift D, X, so select that plane, Shift D, X to move it up, and R, Y, G, Z, just move it out of frame. Going to change the power up a little bit. That is looking really good. So maybe make the power 10. And for the power of these ring lights here, I'm going to select that and change the glow to like 12. Okay, so that's our model pretty much done. Going to go to the camera icon, change the max samples to 800 and change CPU to GPU compute. That'll make it go a lot quicker. One last thing, we're going to change the scale from 30 to 16 and select one of those balls. I'm going to change the color to green. I'll give it a nice look. And now we're going to click render image. So this is probably going to take a little while to render, and I'll be back with you when it's done. Okay, so now it's finished rendering. We just need to save this image. So go up to image, click save as, and just save it to your desktop or wherever you want. I'm just going to call this Sci-Fi ball. Save as image, and that's the finished image. I hope you learned something, and if you want to see more of my content, please subscribe and leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one.